Eddie Blanco from Blanco Realty.
And I'm Stephanie Heron from Blanco Realty.
And today we're going to go over why we became realtors, why we got in the industry. So,
Of course, I always go first.
age before beauty. What got you into real estate? When's the first time it got in your head that you wanted to start a career in real estate?
5 years ago when I bought my last house.
What was that spark? What made you-
I think more than anything I got tired of not knowing exactly what was going on, and I felt like that I wasn't being told everything that I should have been told. There were a lot of things that are wrong with my home now that I think an inspector should have told us, that if I would have been in the business, I would have kind of been able to, hey, wait, what's this, and why is this, and whatnot. Plus, I want to help somebody find their home, that place that just does it for them, that just makes it worth coming home from work.
So you had a realtor, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay. They get the inspection report before you do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did they explain any of that with you?
Not really.
What brokerage was she with?
No brokerage.
It has to be with brokerage.
He was his own. And no, I'm not going to call anybody out.
So he owned his own brokerage.
Yes.
And he didn't break down the inspection report.
No, I don't. No. He said we could ask for this and we could ask for that, or we could just go with as is. But you know that if the things that we ask for they don't do, then either we walk or so. I felt like it wasn't explained properly to me.
Did you relay that to him?
No,
Okay.
because I didn't. Like I said,
Right.
as a layperson, you don't know. You know, a lot of times when you go into buying your home, you trust your realtor, your real estate agent.
Right.
So.
Okay, so that experience was the first time you had in your head, you know what, I just want to do this myself.
No, I wanted to do it prior to that. I was scared. I had kids at home that I needed to make sure I had a steady income for. But that was kind of more of a driving force, that the last home that
So
I
before
purchased.
that, what made you think about it before that?
I don't know. I think I thought about it more because I figured it was it wasn't the 9 to 5.
Okay.
It wasn't the traditional, I'm going to work for this person. I can do what I need to do on my terms.
Right.
And I liked that idea, but it scared me as well because, like I said, I had kids at home to support. So now that my kids are older, that's when I said, you know what, it's my turn now. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Okay, so you thought about it, and then you had that experience, made you come across it again.
Mm-hmm.
After that, what was the next signal that you wanted to get started?
It's just time for a change.
Now, was this before we initially talked about it, before you got licensed, or was this at that point?
What do you mean?
So when we first talked about you wanting to be in real estate.
When I came and said, hey, Eddie, I'm thinking about
Right.
getting into real estate. Yeah, I had thought about it before then. And I
Okay.
had whatever. I just wanted to, I guess really the reason that I reached out to you was because I wanted to confirm.
So I remember that, and I remember you had an experience where you were told, or they didn't really believe you
I couldn't do it. You can't do it.
Okay, let's touch on that. Let's touch on that a little bit, because sometimes that can be your flow.
It was.
Okay.
I was told that I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, you're not gonna pass the class. You're not gonna even start the class, let alone you're not gonna be able to.
This is somebody close to
It
you?
was somebody that I was dating.
Wow. Some people just want to keep you down.
They did, and that was the case, and that just almost infuriated me to the point where I was like, oh, hell no, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna show. And just to be spiteful, that first listing I got, that first commission check I got, I made sure I text that person and said, hey, guess what I did?
Yeah, what's his name?
No, we're not going there.
If you're out there, comment and tell her your version of what happened. Okay, all right. So he said you couldn't do it, you're not going to pass, and you showed him.
I did.
Okay, so once you made that decision, even when we talked, I wasn't sure because a lot of people say one thing, but then the action part going forward doesn't always happen. Even when they do, they don't get past the schooling.
Yeah.
So, I remember shortly after that, was it the next day or it was that week?
It was
you did,
the
right?
same week. I messaged you and I said I
signed up for
the class.
Okay, all right. So that first week of school, how'd you feel going into it?
Very scared, very nervous. I knew that there was a lot involved in real estate, but I didn't realize that they actually teach you everything from the ground up. I mean, basically what real estate is, and you would have to know all the national laws and everything on top of your state.
Right. So, what was your expectations before? What was your thoughts during the school? And what did you think after you completed the school and were right about to take your state test?
When I was actually doing the class, there were, because I would message you and say, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm done. I'm not
I had a really hard time with the school, so I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you always said, no, just keep doing it. You're almost there,
Right,
halfway
right.
there. And I know you're always that person that says you're your own cheerleader, but you were my biggest cheerleader through real estate school, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
It was a lot. It was a lot more intense than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's if you don't know the laws or if you don't have any experience in it, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough test.
It was very.
But you passed the school test.
I passed the school test on the second time. It was the state test that got me.
Okay, the state test. That hurts a little more when you fail that one because it costs. That one. So you failed the first time with the state. Did you feel comfortable? Like, I think I can pass this the next time around, or how did you feel?
I was actually, it was a big punch in the gut. I thought I knew what was going on. And then it made me doubt myself.
Okay, so second time, how'd it go?
I came up a couple points, but I still didn't pass.
Did you feel comfortable with the questions? Like, okay, I think I can.
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay, so what did you do after that second fail?
What did I do? I went home and I signed up for the third time.
Good. And what happened the third time?
I failed again. But I did come up in points.
Okay, and what was your thoughts process after that third fail?
I actually took, I think it was a week off. I didn't do anything real estate related. I just kind of cleared my mind, didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think I was opposed to that.
You were very
idea.
opposed to that.
Okay, all right. And the fourth time, what happened?
The fourth time, I failed by 1 point. So before I even got home, I signed up for the test the following day.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. And that's when you passed.
That was when I passed. I remember that day. I cried. I hugged the
Worker. That's
yeah,
testing.
I hugged him and I told him, I know I'm not supposed to hug you, but I've been here so long, I feel like I know you.
Okay.
I called my dad and I cried because my dad was a big cheerleader.
You called your dad or your mom first?
My dad, because I knew I was going to go home and see
Okay.
my mom. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
So I called my dad because at that time he was in Wisconsin.
All right.
So I called him, and then
Oh, and just a little update. Her dad is in the new house. She
Yes.
finished that sale for the
Loves
day.
it.
Congratulations. Okay. Well, that's good.
Yep.
So he's a Phoenix resident again.
no,
No?
it's Goodyear.
Goodyear resident.
But
Okay.
he's back in Arizona. Yes,
Okay. So he was proud of you, I'm sure.
very proud of me.
And he was, he supported you the whole time as well?
Yes, actually, I had told him that I was not going to do it anymore. And he, for my birthday, sent me a check.
That's right. I remember that.
Yep.
That's right.
And he said, two more look, I'm getting emotional. He told me 2 more times or 50 more times, do it until you pass it.
He's absolutely right. You know, a lot of people don't even get past the schooling because it's too hard. It's hard. It's hard. Go take studying every day, studying for hours and failing. Studying for hours and failing. There's thousands of questions to study on the test, and you only get like 200 of those thousands. You don't know which one of those thousands you're going to get. And it is difficult, especially you definitely have to be resilient to keep going back after a fail, keep going back after a fail. But that's the one thing I tell every new agent thinking about getting into it. From the beginning, I set expectations. This is a hard test. I'm not saying you can't pass it on the first try, but don't be discouraged if you don't. The key is
proof right here.
the key is if you fail, if it takes you 100 times, as long as you don't quit, eventually you're going to pass that test, and you only have to pass it one time. That's it. Then just keep up your CE credits, and you don't even have to worry about it again. So just don't give up, and you'd be surprised how many people do give up. I wasn't sure what to expect from you after that first conversation. I was a little surprised when you said you signed up for school. And I knew that was just the first phase. I didn't even know if you get to the testing phase, the school test, which you did. And then the state test I thought was going to be a little easier, but it was flipped for you.
Yeah.
It was a little harder. And that does take a little more perseverance to keep going back to those ones.
Yeah.
Because you do see that same guy, the same workers every time.
Exactly.
Fail, fail, fail. But you have to be that way in everything. If you give up after a fail, you're never going to succeed.
Exactly.
So you told your dad, I'm sure he was proud of you.
Yes.
Your mom was proud of you.
Very.
Now, did you have, the boyfriend, what was his name again?
We didn't
That's
discuss
right.
that.
He was not supportive about it.
I think towards the end he kind of started getting a little bit more supportive.
Before you signed up for school or after?
After when I was
When
getting
you already
ready,
knew
that I was already
okay.
pretty much done.
All right.
Oh,
so
I know you could do it.
prior to that, who was your support system? What, did anybody tell you not to do it or try to discourage you?
No,
So your mom's, dad's, kids, they were all support.
Very.
Just him.
just him. But it was enough to
Well, maybe you needed that.
fuel that fire.
Okay, all right. So you signed up, and how would you say it was for you that first month or 2 months after being licensed?
It was scary because now I could actually go and help somebody sell or
Right.
buy a home. There was a lot to learn. Lots of fees.
Oh yeah.
Lots of fees.
But the fees, like I said in the beginning, you get one sale, it's going to make up for those fees.
Yeah, and you did tell me that.
Yeah.
You did tell me that, you're investing in yourself.
Absolutely, yep. So, and that's what people don't realize. I mean, they say, why you get paid so much commission? You have no idea how many fees we have to pay, how much in fees we pay,
Yes.
thousands of dollars to be licensed, to be able to help home buyers, home sellers. So there are a lot of fees we put into it, a lot of marketing, a lot of money that goes into it. But it is a great career. It's something you can do where it's yours. You can wake up when you want, you can go to sleep when you want. It's 100% what you want to do. So you just passed your year of real estate.
I did.
Looking back to that first month and now, how do you feel about the decision? How do you feel where you're at? And what do you see in the future?
Like I said, that first month it was a little scary, a little nerve-wracking. I'm much more confident now with everything. I love going and showing clients homes. Like I said, want to make them comfortable with their purchase. I don't want to kind of push anybody. I'm very patient still.
Okay.
I'm very happy that I did it. It's so far been very rewarding.
Good, good. Different from, I guess, the jobs you were used to.
Yes.
Okay. What do you see in the future?
In the future, I eventually want to open my own brokerage.
Okay.
I would like to get help more people.
Okay.
I guess get more clients, and just be able to answer people.
Do you see yourself going full time at some point?
That's another goal.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the one thing. So you had a smoother path to start your real estate career. So when I was in fitness my whole life before real estate, and the reason I got into real estate, I was thinking about buying an investment property, and I was training this realtor, and I continued to tell her, hey, send me some properties, and she just wasn't doing it. And I'm very impatient as it is.
Yes, you are.
So I got frustrated. So, you know what? I get my license myself and I do it myself. But that's not the only reason. So my mom had a friend. I wasn't my friend. And she was a realtor. And my mom was possibly getting a house. And somehow the lender sent an email to my mom. And the realtor, supposedly my mom's friend, caught the email, thought she was responding to the lender, but responding to my mom saying I didn't want her to know about that program. My mom saw it and got really upset, obviously. And told her, and obviously she didn't go forward. So that was with a so-called friend.
Wow.
So I figured, at least this way, I can help me, I can help my family, and that was my main objective to getting the license. So once I did get licensed, when I started school, once I think about something, I'm kind of,
relentless.
I don't want to hesitate. I want to just get going. I want to get going, start. So I didn't know anything about real estate though, nothing. And the school was really hard for me. The tests were really hard. I must have taken like 5-6 times the school test.
But that prepared you better for the state test.
Yes, I was in there every day. I failed, next day I'm back in there, next day back in there, studying. And eventually I passed it. I was a little nervous about the state test because of how difficult the school test was for me. But when I took the state test, there was 2 parts. There was state and then the national part. So you could pass one and not pass the other, go back and pass the other. So the first time I passed one part, I think I was like 2 points off on the other. So next day I went back in, passed that second part, done. Now I think you guys have to pass everything. If you fail, it's the whole thing over again. So once I got licensed, I was so happy. I just went with whatever brokerage, first one I found, which was Berkshire Hathaway. Big name. They were good trainings, good people. I liked them, but I didn't know about the fees. I thought they all charged the same fees. Mm-hmm. I was giving them 30% of everything I made, no matter how many sales I sold. Plus, on top of that, at that time, I don't know if they still do it, you had to pay a $250 fee. Well, you have to make your clients pay that fee, and if they didn't pay it, you had to pay that fee. So on top of it, taking the 30%, then also making them pay another $250 brokerage fee.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought it was normal. I was kind of happy. I got my first commission check. I went out. I went to networking groups. And the clients I had at that time from my gym, they started asking me real estate questions as well, and I started helping them. And then I started realizing, hey, this real estate thing can be pretty lucrative. It was doing pretty good. I liked it. And then I went to a networking group. I met this lady. Her daughter was a loan officer. We hit it off. I met with them the next day, her and her partner, and we talked about helping each other's business out. They gave me a pre-qual. I didn't even know what a pre-qual was at that time.
I remember you telling me
Yeah,
that.
so I was like, what do I do with this? They go, they have their proof for this much, just go find them a house. I did, and then after that it was off to the races. I did really good that first year, and I just loved it. And at the same time, the gym, it was kind of, I loved the gym, it's still my passion, but the people, they weren't as dedicated as they were when I first started, which really bothered me, and I didn't have that motivation going in to babysit anymore. So I stopped and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go full into real estate, and I loved it. It's been great. So you have to be a realtor for 3 years to become a broker. That was my goal from probably the end of the first year. Because after Berkshire Hathaway, I met a HomeSmart agent, and she goes, "Oh, there are high fees at Berkshire." I was like, "What do you mean? What are you paying?" They're paying like $2,000 less a transaction than I was. I was like, "You serious?" The same day they told me that, I went straight to the broker. I said, "I'm quitting." I go, "I'm going with this other brokerage because they charged me this much." She goes, "Well, it's because of the name." I was like, "Well, that's fine if you guys are giving me leads, but you guys give me no leads. The leads I got, they know my name. They don't even know what brokerage I'm with until afterwards. So yeah, I'm going over here." And HomeSmart was great. Yeah, I had no problem with HomeSmart. Great fees. Support, not so much. It's pretty much all online. You do what you need to do, which I was okay with because I already had run my gym business before that. So I was pretty good at keeping myself accountable, but I just wish I had a mentor, someone to guide me at that point, because I didn't know about e-sign. My first deal was in Queen Creek, and I was living in Avondale at the time. So I was driving every day to have them sign the paper. I was like, "You kidding me? This is something a broker or somebody should have told me," and they didn't. So whatever. When I was at HomeSmart, I was fine. I went to another brokerage, a smaller one that's a little cheaper, not much. And boy, I learned that cheaper is not always better. They they cheated my commission like 3 times. They overcharged me for my office twice. It was a mess every time dealing with that company. It was Deluxe Realty, so don't go to Deluxe if you're thinking about going to Deluxe. I have no problem saying my experience with them. It was horrible. So I went back to HomeSmart. I only needed to wait like 1 more month to get my broker's license, but I just couldn't take unethical people not taking care of my money. Because I caught it, but I can just imagine the newer agents that they did that to who didn't catch it. So, I mean, messing up with paperwork or something like that is understandable, but when you mess with someone's money, that's a deal breaker for me. So I wasn't okay with that. So I went back to HomeSmart for a month, let them know my plan. They were cool with it. Started my own brokerage. It was great. Nothing like working for yourself. Once you get the systems down and you know what you need to do, and you keep yourself accountable, and you keep yourself doing the things you need to do, it's great. You don't have to answer anybody. If you fail, it's on you. If you succeed, it's on you. It's great thing. That's why when you came along, you were great. You're very you're willing to learn, which is the key. It was the key. Before you, I had a team of like 7. They all said the same thing when they started, but when it came down to doing anything, they refused to do anything. So I learned quality is much better than quantity. So whoever comes on is going to definitely have to have the same mindset and have the same goals as we have here. Yeah, one bad apple can tear down the whole tree.
Yes.
So that was the reason I got into real estate. I love it. It's one thing that almost every millionaire invests in. It's something that everybody needs, and it's a service I can give to renters who are paying their landlords, making them rich, get them equity. I can help people sell their houses, try to get the most out of it, and the main thing, help them understand. Because I remember when I didn't know anything, and when we had those experiences with people trying to take advantage,
Yep.
I can be someone that's trusted and can help them in that process. So I love real estate right now. I'm glad I made the decision. I'm not sure what you're thinking about it right now, but I'm hoping you're happy with it.
No, I am, and like I said, I think for me it's just I want to get that client base. I want to be able to get those referrals. I want to be able to help people, so that I can do it full time.
Right.
So that's right now where I'm at. But so far, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and you're in a great position. And when you came on, my one thing with you was, I want to help you as much as I can, show you as much as I can, so the newer agents that come after you, you can kind of mentor yourself. Because it's different me telling someone, because I'm already a broker, I'm not as new. But for you, who's just been where they were at,
Yep.
and coming where you're at now, it's a little more relatable. So we want to build other business owners. So I want you to have your broker's license, I want you to have your business, and I want you to help someone else do the same thing, and so on and so on.
And like I said, I appreciate everything that you've done for me. And I know that sometimes I can be a little difficult.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
But
so can you.
Pay it forward.
Exactly.
Pay it forward. And the one thing I thought, I remember when I started and the difficulties I had, I feel like, okay, those things I went through, so anyone I bring on doesn't have to go through it.
And you do.
The only bad thing is it's hard to appreciate it when you didn't have to go through that part, because all you know is this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the one thing about you, and that's the one thing that I appreciate greatly, because you are an amazing mentor, because you remember those things that were really hard for you, so that you made sure that you let me know those things,
right,
so that I didn't have the same difficulties.
And relationships are great, especially as a new agent. A great title company will help you with these things. First thing was introducing you to the vendors. You pick which one you hit it off with, and you've had a great relationship with a lot of the vendors. Title, now you have a great loan officer right here, so you don't got to worry about that anymore, because that has not been the best experience. But yeah, there's definitely support. There's people who are there to help you. You went on your own with your dad's sale, and you met a great inspector.
I did.
Even though you said his name wrong on that first.
I did.
What's his
I
name?
apologized. Droll.
Droll. What did you call him?
Dwight? Was it Dwight?
So Droll is our guy right now. He's our inspector. We appreciate you, Droll, and we'll definitely use you when needed, or we'll recommend you.
Yes.
And hopefully it's a great business relationship going forward. But anything you want to say about real estate and your experience to end this?
Really? No. Just if you have any questions, or you're thinking about selling or buying, even renting, call.
Okay, what advice you would give to the people thinking about joining school, or in real estate school, or thinking about getting into real estate?
Make sure it's something that you're going to be able to commit to. It's not easy. It is basically a full-time job. So like myself, I do work a full-time job, and I do real estate full-time. So technically I have 2 full-time jobs,
right,
and it's a big commitment. If you're not willing to put the time in, don't bother wasting your money.
You have to have a why. So when we met that first time talking about it, what are the 2 questions I asked you can remember? Did you pay any attention to anything I said that day?
The big one I remember was, what was my ultimate goal?
Yes. What is your ultimate goal? What is your reason for being in real estate? What was the end goal? Okay? And kind of the other thing was a monetary question.
Monetary.
That means like money.
I know what monetary question is. I'm trying to think of what it was. I know that you asked me what my magic number was.
Yes, that's the second one. How much do you want to make a month, or would you be comfortable making a month to be able to go full time with real estate?
Yep.
So we need those 2 numbers. So now, looking back, there's a little more purpose behind those questions, because if you didn't have a why, you really, maybe it's not going to be that important to you.
Exactly.
When things get hard, you're probably not going to follow through to keep going back after fails. Second question was to get that number. Most people say, I don't know, I never thought about it, but we really need a number in our head to strive to, because if we can write down and we can work towards a goal, it's a lot more attainable.
Exactly.
So now we know the number, she's getting closer to that number, and it's something to work towards. The one piece of advice I would have is don't let failure stop you. If it takes you 100 times to pass a test, it takes 100 times. Keep your mind on the end result, because once you pass, you never have to take that test again, and the future is totally up to you.
That's very true.
I'm EddY Blanco with Blanco Realty.
And I'm Stephanie with Blanco Realty.
See you next time.
Bye.